All right, all right. We are streaming live in all the places. Let's see. Hello, everyone. I'm just sending all the invites that I can find to get folks to stop on by. All right. Thank you for liking the live, Trish. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Can you hear me? I also have YouTube going over here. And I'm just going to get my cards out. Well, hello, Susan Stanley. Thanks for hopping on and joining. Getting all the things happening. All right. Hello over here in TikTok world. So for those of you that are new to this, I am streaming in both YouTube and TikTok at the same time, just to broaden the audience. Some people don't use TikTok, but they use YouTube. So here we are doing this dual casting business. Hello again, Elsmarath. I think you're in the building. Just greeting everybody. Say hello. Marie Antoinette, I believe you're here. Debbie, hello. Hello. Awesome. And we got some folks over here as well. I love this. This is great. Technology. So how is everybody doing this week with these intense energies? Did you guys get my energy newsletter? Did you read him? Did you see anything that applied to you this week? So I get my cards out here and get rolling. If I don't answer a question you have or see that you've done a divination for donation or anything like that, make sure to catch my attention. I don't mind if you say it a few times. It is an interesting skill to learn to be able to maneuver in fast pace and try to address everyone, which I do try to do. I do. Got these cards over here. Oh, we got to get our happy cards out. Our cards that give everyone some good inspiration from the angels each week. Get those out here. Last but not least, we need a pendulum. Come here, friend. Hello. Hey, time waster girl. You're liking the Wednesdays. I'm kind of liking the Wednesdays too. Technically, I think this might have been the last initial Wednesday, but I don't know. Kind of liking the Wednesday. It may stay. Yes, I think tomorrow night is the last official night of Ghost Hunters Academy. I have learned a lot of geeky stuff. Let me just tell you. Why, thank you. I did a little blue situation here today. And I have my I'm a Whole Vibe shirt on today. I'm a whole vibe. He's got his sunglasses on, little spooky spook. Little disco wall. Oh, yes. And for you guys over here, you can see a little bit more full. You know, YouTube has the landscape action over here. Let's see if I missed anything. Hanging on by your teeth, Marie. Did I know that, Marie? Did I know that you were in Maine? What? How did I not know this? I love Maine. Yeah, see, I kind of felt like you were over there on that side of the world there, Wisconsin or something like that. Oh, you just arrived. All right. Is this vacation or you like moved? You moved over. And is it like central Maine? You know, you don't have to tell me on here, but I have family. I go up every year to down east. If you know, you know what that is. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love it. Big time. Portland. Okay. Well, that's a little lower. I did not this past fall, but the fall before that, spent a day or so in Portland catching the plane out. We flew into Bangor last year on a smaller plane. But Portland, and there needed to be more than a day there to adventure. But down east, that's where I love. Acadia National Park, everything else about it, basically. Hey, Ollie, how you doing? Hello, hello. All right, so let's see. All right, first let's talk a little bit about these energies this week. We had all the things happening kind of at once, right? We had major sacred days, holidays, turning of the Chinese New Year. We had new moon, an eclipse, solar eclipse, all the things happening, all these different energies kind of merging into one universal theme. If you take like the 10,000 foot look, I think. And I summed it up in the energy newsletter. Again, if you guys have not subscribed, hop over to my website, click on like the free meditation, any of the free meditation things, and you can sign up there, get a free meditation, and also be on the weekly newsletter that gives you kind of the energy outlook. Each week I give you a new kind of curated free meditation that I have listened to myself online, and I share it with you inside of there so that you can take it a step further and practice with it each week. Time Waster Girl, did you know that? Are you on the email newsletter? Every week there's a meditation in there with different hertz. Like I think it was 741 hertz this week. And you can listen to it for different, each one kind of has a theme, but work with it during the week. It's free. Free, people. Free. Harley, Colby is doing very well. You know, it is the normal struggles after having various types of intense chemo. So there are some things that are never going to be quite the same. Some new aches and pains, you know, neuropathy. There's things that come as a trade-off, kind of. And, you know, many folks that have had intensive chemo and things, they end up with kind of things. I don't want to like give them so much power because there's a lot of, over time, there's a lot of things you can do to lessen the effect and the disruption of your life by learning more about your body, learning more about the affliction. But yeah, it did a little bit of damage, but the overall was for the best. So he's doing okay though. Doctors say better than, you know, ahead of schedule, if you will. So he might even by the end of next month be able to go out about town with a mask on. He's getting real cabin fever because he's not allowed to go anywhere or see anybody. He's allowed to go in the car to his doctor's appointments, but that's about it. And he's having a little trouble growing the hair back this time. It is not coming back like it did before. Now this past December, he had a different type of chemo and the intensity was kind of like the terminal type chemo. Had they not reset his and given him the transplant, it was like a terminal dose. So it was heavy stuff. But the long and short of it is, I think he's doing great. You deal with the setbacks as you go, but he is here and he has life ahead of him, a bigger chunk of time. So, hey, that's good stuff. Marie says, I got into surgery soon here for my treatment, decided to do it here. Okay. It is definitely better than that you are in Portland than kind of that upper down east area, because they don't have as many, the hospitals are a little more scarce, right? In the specialists. Like I know my aunt, she's on her 4th round of cancer. She's had different types, and she has to drive. For a while there in the beginning, she had to drive to Portland, which is, 3-4 hours. But, just to drive she has a prosthetic leg because her leg had to be cut off for one of them. And I know it's like an hour and a half each way to get to that specialist. So, the trials that life gives us, sometimes it's hard to see the lighter parts of these things, but there is always something that we can find if we are open to doing so. There's always something that we can find that gives us further hope, whether it's in each other, in our family members, in our own life. There's little things. And sometimes it's really, really overwhelming. And, I used to laugh at that term, stop and smell the roses, but they knew what they were talking about. In fact, they were kind of talking about grounding. I'll be honest with you. That's one of the techniques is, find, 3 things you can smell, 4 things you can see. There's a lot of different things to help you ground, as well as meditations and things. But to be able to stop, take the moment, smell the rose, allow it to kind of register in your mind. And perhaps you can, depending on the rose, you can pick up hints of licorice or hints of this. And that all brings you into the moment. There's a cool psychological trick with that. So, with the hecticness that so many people I talk to now, is hecticness a word? It is today. With so many folks that I've been talking to the last week and a half or so, there's some heavy stuff going on. There's some major cycle endings, cycle shifts. I put out the eclipse universal reading yesterday. If you guys saw it on the social medias, that was really telling. And also, I hope that if you did read it, what I had written on what I channeled and what the cards had come through for you with, I hope that you found a little hope in that, not just strive for ending cycles and, a push to move forward with the universe. There was a big call to let it go. It is time to let go of what has cycled through. In angel numbers, you'll see a lot of 8s and 9s and 0s when it's really done. You'll start getting those a lot repeatedly when they're prepping you for a cycle change. So if you guys work with angel numbers, that's another way you might be seeing these things happening now. Oh, hey, I just hit my walking goal. Whee! Hi, Sue Ellen. I know I got talking here. Let's see what I've missed. Yeah, we don't love that big C. But boy, doesn't it really cut through all the nonsense and make you really see your life in that moment. And hopefully, there are many people that are able to receive treatments to extend their life. And so hopefully in those moments where you have that awareness, it's shocking, it's life-changing, it's crushing, but it also allows you to see so clearly what is important in your world, what perhaps legacy you want to leave with the time that you have. so much going on there. It can, I have read books and different, seen some documentaries and things where they talk about how life-changing, strange, in a positive way. They're talking about it in a positive way because it allowed to clear out all the nonsense that they had been, going like a hamster wheel, boom, 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 in life. So I don't know. You want to do that. You want to take, and let it be that we can take note to do that before, so we don't have to necessarily have the big C to do that, right? Let's do that ahead of time. Let's try to do that, this month going forward. It's hard though. And I say that because I'm empathizing, because everybody has different struggles every day, different variations of family stuff, work stuff, health stuff. So I know it's not easy, and I never mean to make light of it, but I will continue to say how important it is. Oh, yay. Thank you for all the shares here. I love that. Let's see. What is happening? What are you guys talking about? I sound gentle today, time waster girl? Well, I hope that I do. I've had some time to slow down today and kind of talk to a family member, friends, partner, all the things. And really thought about some stuff. The last couple of days I've been doing that. I'd like to believe that I make a practice of taking a time out. Gentle like a river. Well, it could go either way. What did I share that? There was a really neat thing talking about the power of water. It was a spiritual thing. I don't know if it was like a reel or something, but it was talking about it can be as soft, as what's it? I don't know. It was like as soft as something, but also carve its way through mountains. It was a really good thing. Hopefully I shared it and you guys, they said it much better, but it got me thinking about going with the flow. That's the point of this story, guys. I'm squirreling. And the constant reminder to do that. I have to remind myself all the time. But I think that I will pat myself on the back and knowing that I do after I go through my moment of frustration. I do get with the program, as my grandparents would say, get with the program. And, I try to take a look and say, okay, what meaning is behind this sudden shift, this shift that I am rejecting, that nothing in my body wants any part of? What is coming from this? What lesson is coming from this? Is this for me? Is this for the other person? Is this a lesson of letting go of, allowing things to evolve that maybe I didn't want to change, all the things. Oh, thank you, Sue Ellen. I was your first follow. I love that. I want more and more folks on the YouTube channel, man. We got to grow this thing. That's partially my fault because I've only started really kicking it up a notch this year. It's been around for a long while, but I was concentrating a lot more on helping Mary Jo with Angels Talks YouTube channel, which has like 5,000 subscribers, where I don't quite have that many. I would very much like to expand that though. So that's why you hear me going on and on and on about it, because, you got to get the word out somehow. All right. What do I have going on here? Oh, Trish, I see something here. If you guys have donated, divination for donation, please do let me know, because I tend to freeze up when I check it on the computer now. Not to say I'm not going to check it on the computer, but it's much easier if you could just let me know. I trust you guys. Okay, Trish, I have you written down here. Let me clear this out. We're going to start over here. Getting a fresh piece of paper to write these things down. I want that pen today. Does any of you guys have like a preferred pen? I get weird. Like, you know, I have a few different pens out and I have to have the right one for today. Sue Ellen, thank you very much. I see that you also donated here. Let me see. These things are coming through the screen. Trish. Okay, and both of you are going to get healings as well afterwards. Thank you very much. And if you guys don't know, I have it kind of, what's cool about YouTube is I could stream across the bottom different ways to do the divination for donation, what's going on, you know, $10, $20. I did not add in the $5 one, but I did put it on the social media post. So we have the $5 2-card, What the Fae Have to Say is available as well. And the $10 or more, you get the energy reading, and I will check your chakras. But $20 or more, we'll do that in a bit more in-depth manner. And after the show, now this is for the $20 or more, I will go ahead and tap into your energy field. I will clear out the chakras that we discovered were out of whack, and I will rebalance them. So you are good to go at that point with all the new knowledge. Let's see. All right. I'm just double checking, guys. You keep talking. Seeing what's coming up on the screen here and noting it. Okay. I think, unless I missed something. Oh, Harley says I missed the one before the $20 read. No worries. There is the $10 or more is an energy reading. So I'm going to go into your chakras, find out which ones are out of whack, and tell you about that, as well as pull some cards to support what we find and give you some guidance. But for the $20 or more, I'll give you the healing afterwards. So the $10 or more is just the data, not the healing part. Some of you are practicing on your own with your Reiki, on clearing them. So that allows you to just get some data and then work on it. But then there's others where they just want to start fresh tomorrow with all the information that they have, start fresh with a nice cleaned and channeling system there. So that's what I do for them. And these are, you know, I can't say Thursday night because we're Wednesday now. These are live stream specials. The one-on-ones range from, I think it's $66 to $155 for something like this. So it's a neat way to be able to come each week and get together with you guys, talk to you guys. You can ask questions, and there's a little bit of healing and reading as well. Trish, my problems are yours to fix. You funny. You told me things. What? All right. What else? All right. What else we got here? All right. I think I am caught up here. Susan, are you still here? No? Is Susan still here? Over on the YouTube side. I may have lost Susan. Oh, well, maybe Susan will come back. Got to make sure I address both of you guys. I think I have one closer than the other, so it's a little weird here. When I go over here to look, you guys can't see me. All right, I'll get the hang of this yet. I sure will. All right. So now I have some things noted. Who else is in the group here tonight? All right, I see 5. There we go. All right. Do you guys have any spirit questions? Did you bring any spirit ghosty questions, anything tonight? We could talk about ghost stuff for a minute before we get into the readings and healings, if anybody wants to. Again, we talked a little bit about the hairy energy this week, and checking the newsletter, because there's a nice meditation to help with some things there. Is there anything anyone's struggling with that they want to, bring to the group here, bring to our live stream? This is an open Q&A type of thing. And for those of you that are in the Mystic Circle mentorship program, this is yet another way to get some feedback and talk about some things. I try to provide that in the groups, obviously the private Facebook groups, as well as the power hours twice a month. And these, if you happen to come to these, there is benefit in that. Bree, hello, Bree. Bree says, Harry is right. Hi. It's been a minute, Bree. I hope you have been okay. It's been a minute. Okay. Bree over here on TikTok is mentioned going through all the things. I think that's what you're saying. Bree, if you did not know, I'm streaming to both. I have two cameras here. I'm streaming to YouTube as well as TikTok. So if you see me talking over here, it's not to my ghosty friends. It is to the YouTube channel. All right. Bree says work issues, car issues, people issues. Well, that's the full gambit, isn't it? Whenever things like that come up, are you able to step back and see a theme that the universe might be bringing to you? A theme of which maybe hasn't been fully dealt with, and they're bringing it to you in various flavors so that it's almost unavoidable. I take a look at that sometimes when things are hitting just all over the place. Oh, that doesn't sound fun, Harley. Not at all. You might try and open just an energy medicine technique that you can do there, Harley, for that if you choose to. You can open up your palm chakras. Make sure that your chakras are clear and open. You're a very nice funnel for the divine. And for, I would suggest calling on Archangel Raphael for this to help you. He's the healing angel, green light, green energy aura, all that green. So that's something you can visualize. So open your channel in either divine light or green light from Archangel Raphael through the hands, and place your hands in the areas that are affected right now. And allow them to stay there until you start to feel some sort of sensation. Typically, it's a heat on the hands or a tingling, or maybe the skin. You'll start feeling that, but there'll be some sort of current of electricity. If your chakras are all open and you're channeling that light, you can send it in to affected areas. That's a very summarized version of, kind of healing medicine there. You just have to make sure that you're channeling it. You know what I mean? Sometimes when folks are like, well, I put my hands on my arm and I don't feel anything. Well, did you set the table, so to speak, the spiritual table? Did you clear the room? Did you clear your energy? Did you open up, say your prayers, or whatever it is that you say to call upon your guides, and then sit quietly and allow it to happen? Visualize it kind of coursing through you and filling that area with a soft, I always like soft and soothing as kind of the intention. You can do that on animals as well. So Bree says, I get a new car tomorrow though, but still owe for the old one. So yay for 24K car loans. Well, that is a lot. That is a lot for sure. You know, there's some things to be dug into there. It is more than what a live stream can provide. But have you been working with the angels at all? You know, Michael, Ariel, those are two right off the bat with car problems and or, you know, financial sort of thing going on, that you want to call in for guidance and direction and some help, little help on things, so that, you know, more decisions are divinely led instead of kind of knee jerk through the, you know, the ego mind, which is the thinking, figuring out mind. We're allowing in answers, their answers, because I'm telling you what, their answers are always better than our answers. They can see all time and space, past, present, future, other potentialities of your actions. So why not ask them? They know the very best route for this time period. So for all of you guys out there, I encourage you very strongly, don't minimize working with the angels. They can make huge changes in your world. Huge. They have absolutely no doubt in the world. They have made more change in my spiritual journey than any other beings out there in the last 16 years. That's it. I like working with the other ones. I learn things. I grow in different ways. But the angels, they are no joke. I know they may seem fluffy and a little less than maybe to some folks, but they're not. They can make some change fast. Now, the change has to be in alignment with your path. That's the catch. If we want something because we want something, and it's not aligned with our spiritual path, our soul's path, then it ain't going to happen. You could do different spells and different stuff to kind of force it to happen, but it's always going to kind of flake out and not quite be what you want. It's best to align with the universe's divine plan for you. Let's see where I am. What else we got going? We got a lot of talk over here. Oh, wait, I see the word ghosts. All right, let's talk about that. Marie, tell us about your ghosts. I want to hear from you guys tonight. Bree has some ghosts too. All right, how am I missing this? So Bree has some ghosts. Oh, Raz, I am so sorry to hear that. That is an awful, awful kind of day. I'm telling you, I was just mentioning it earlier, 15 minutes ago, how wonky the energies have been with this conjunction that has really shuffled and ruffled things. All in all, the energy is supposed to be helping us to close out cycles and start new cycles. But I tell you, at this point, it's really fresh this week. So I see a lot of chaos in folks. Not in them per se, but like they don't really see, it's all in the air still. It's not a very clear picture yet to them as to where this is going. So it's been struggle bus for some folks. But that is awful. Raz says he's in Tampa Bay, so going to go to Moffat. Well, that is good. Moffat's a renowned place. It's fantastic. I tell you, if he happens to get to Morton Plant, strangely, they did amazing things for Colby when Moffat would not take him. Not even kidding. Super impressed with their cancer team. And then his second round for the stem transplant was in Davis Island, Tampa General. which they have a special team there for the type that he had. So you just don't know. I will tell you a story about that. We were praying and praying in the very beginning that Moffat would take him, or else he wasn't going to have, I'll be honest with you, very much time. He thought he had more than what everyone else thought. And Moffat would not take him. And we were getting so frustrated with the universe. And, you know, it was a very dark time. And then the universe opens the way for Morton Plant's cancer center to take him. And we're like, well, at least somebody will take him. Turns out that's exactly where he needed to be. That team was fantastic. Some of them are even Facebook friends with him now. They were just wonderful. So point of the story is, Raz, if your family would embrace, you know, prayers or manifesting, I'm not sure where everyone stands with that, but at least you open up to the universe and allow them to work with everything that they have to bring the highest and best. So things may not end up like you think they're supposed to look, but don't necessarily feel defeated, because perhaps they're aligning a much better path for him through doctors and processes and things like that. It's just a lot when you first get the diagnosis. A lot of things are going to hit you. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Continue to ask the angels and your guides for the highest and best for this moment. What is the best course of action for us so that he can have the most successful process, whatever that is. I don't know the details or what they've said yet, but you know, you can fill in the blanks, but don't lose hope on that, because I give all of what is I use Colby because it's a very good example, right? But I give all of that to universe. They align so many things. What did I miss here? So Bree says, the one talking about the ghosts again, the one that knocked on my door asked to come in my room. I know it was real because the cats even reacted to it. Okay. So we're sure this is not a human. It's a ghost. Bree, are you at your house or are you in a hotel? Because we know your house has some things. We talked about that a long time ago. And just side note here, if a ghost knocks on your door, a spirit knocks on your door and asks to come in, no. Nothing good will come of this. I'll just tell you right now, nothing good will come of that. Not to say you can't coexist with ghosts in a home, but that particular way that's going down there, no ma'am. Do not do it. Bree, so okay, you're at home. Well, is this a new one or that the one that was there a while ago? Let's see if I... Wait a minute. Who's pushing down the steps? I missed all of this. My mom's father is here. Okay. I'm seeing something now. Okay. I'm not going to say anything now out loud. Okay. I'm not saying anything now. I'm understanding. Okay. What do you have a plan to work with this situation that we're not going to say out loud? Bree says, when I saw the cats react, I just prayed and lit incense. You got that art? You still have that archangel prayer? The Michael prayer, I think it was. It might be time to refresh the sigil. They work for a while. You got to refresh and keep the energy going on those. Yeah, there's definitely, you need a clearing out of that. And I know that you have experience doing that because I remember when we talked in depth about it a while ago, well over a year ago, I think. And that seemed to do well for you. Definitely take command control there. Don't just tolerate it. Yep, you need to probably nip that, Bree. Nip that. Okay. Is there any anniversaries coming up right now, Bree, that might be cause for some of this extra activity? Well, you want to thank her for waking you up. Okay. So that would be potentially why she's more active and closer right now. And, you know, they do try to help protect us from other things. So if there's been a lot of like negative energy or lapse, if no one's kind of keeping up the spiritual hygiene around there, you know, that happens when you get, you know, overworked and things, you slack a little. But I think with the energy in your house and the energy that you have potential to channel when you're in right space, that there's a greater need for you to keep up a good, solid spiritual hygiene. And if you have been doing that, we need to add in some things because it's not enough. Well, that, Bree, sounds like just a hello. So that's a good thing, but you have a mix of things going on here. Do take a moment when there's these little hellos and these little protection things that she's doing. Do take a moment and thank her. Just talk. You know, in spirit, they're different individuals, you know, than you might have known here, folks. They are more healed typically, unless, you know, if they have fully crossed over, they're more healed. They've left the physical constraints here in this plane. So say someone had an addictive behaviors or like, you know, we're addicted to alcohol or something like that, you know, that doesn't go with them to the other side if they fully cross over. Now, the bajiggity ones that we talk about that cause a ruckus, those haven't fully crossed over. So they're a different kind of breed. They're in the here, there, you know, they're not quite at peace, long story short. And those can become darker things. And the more that we allow them to kind of be, you know, that accelerates that process. Yep, absolutely. All right. And, you know, I like to make folks aware of these things, but not scare them, because you are very empowered as corporal beings. You are very empowered to manage these things. You just might have grown up scared or felt like you didn't have power in some way. And sometimes it's a harder situation. So you really have to empower yourself and perhaps learn a few extra things to protect yourself. But all in all, for the most part, the living are stronger than these things. There are things you can do. So I never want to scare anybody, but these are realities. You know, ghosts are real, spirits are real, your loved ones talking to you that's real. Tomorrow's the anniversary of my mom's death. Undoubtedly, there's going to be more activity than there's been. And there has been some things already. Well, Marie, that means we need a new ward. That one has done its duty and it has retired. Yeah. And that's kind of a hard thing to be going through and testing out when your body is going through a big C thing. Something we got to remember, when we have illness in our body, a significant illness, it's not the best time to be interacting. And I'm not going to tell anybody how to do anything, but it is not the best time to be interacting with negative spirits, things that have potential to overtake weaker things in a way. You want to be healthy. You want to be of sound mind. Yeah. Like, don't go ghost hunting when you have the flu. Okay. You're not right. You need to be 100% sort of thing. So just be careful with that, Marie, with what you're training on right now when you are working through some health stuff. And most professionals will tell you that, because it's a known thing, you know, the weekend. That's why a lot of individuals that sometimes have mental disorders, some challenges that are going on there, they get afflicted more with unsettled spirits. They are kind of drawn to that. It's easier to manipulate stuff. Oh, and I'm sure he is a trained professional and stuff. Just with your body, if you're doing more than just taking lessons, if you're interacting, just be wary of that. You know, you want to be healthy and 100% for that sort of thing. They're just drawn to illness and sickness and just the human body in a weaker state. That's just a fact. So that's all. I'm just saying, be careful. You know, Bree, you may entertain a sleeping with a necklace on that is symbolic in some way, whether it's a sigil or it's been kind of charged as a talisman for Archangel Michael while you're going through this, just to help with that sort of thing. Onyx and obsidian are really good as well to wear to help keep away negative energies and stuff like that. But perhaps an onyx or obsidian Archangel Michael sigil or symbol or something might be a good one, just to combine the two together. But definitely Michael would be the one at this point to call on for that. It's a little more serious than normal, you know? Oop, nope, I didn't. I thought I dropped cards. I did not. Yes, definitely wear that again, Bree. For some reason, the whole necklace and protecting over here is where they're calling me to, though. So consider that. Not everyone loves wearing necklaces, but, you know, this is purposeful with intention. It's, you know, magic. All right. Keep talking, guys. Keep chit-chatting about all this fun stuff. I love the ghost talk. I don't get enough of it in my life. Well, perhaps if it's one that's close here so you can't like tangle it with your hands, you know, like this one just sits right there. There's not really any way I could do. Now this one's a bit longer, but it seems I got used to it after a few nights. And this is one here with a specific sacred geometry there. You definitely could try that, Marie. Bree could try that. For some reason, they keep saying they want it on your body for protection of your body, not just your surroundings. And not to scare you. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just delivering the mail. And it may not be forever, because you know you're going to grab those tools. You're going to take your next day off where you can set the energy of the house, clear the house, get your candles going, and then escort whoever doesn't need to be there out of there. Keep the good ones, escort the bad ones out. You had, unless something changed, the feedback I got the last time you did that was it was very successful. Whoops. All right, you guys keep talking there. Anybody else have any ghost encounters to share? Old or new? All right. While we're doing that, Trish, are you here? Can I get a whoop whoop? I'm going to get started on your energy check-in. A few weeks of peace? I thought it was longer than that. What happened after a few weeks? Now let me. All right, we got the whoop whoop. Trish, let me just draw out some things here. All right. Okay, that's what happened. Your brother heard that. Well, you know, they might try to go to the weakest link in the house after that. I don't know how much he believes in what, but it would behoove him to bring in at least some of this. Even if he will only say, okay, I'll ask Archangel Michael, I'll deal with that. You know, because they're going to go into the weakest, they're going to hop, right? If you have more than one person living at the house, and so they can't affect you, you know, they go to the other one. Perhaps, have you ever talked to him, Bree, about clearing the items before they enter the house? There are antique shops of which I may like something. There's one particular one I'm thinking about now in Maine, but I'm not bringing anything home. Well, no, I did on the other level because there was nothing that I felt negative on the other level. I picked up the piece. It felt fine and I took it, but there was other stuff on the top level that no, absolutely not. I didn't care how much I like it. That was not coming home because of so many spirits. Some nice, mostly they were not very friendly in that antique store, but we still keep going back. And brought a little bit of sneaky paranormal equipment the last time. Well, I mean, sage insult can work for some things, but that's why, you know, I encourage everyone to learn multiple methods because one thing won't work for everything, if that makes sense. Sage is not going to work for everything. Salt won't work for everything. Sometimes you need bells. Sometimes you need other things. The more you can learn, the more you'll know, okay, this situation calls for this and stuff like that. It's probably a good idea when anybody in antiquing and stuff like that, when you pick up the item, does it feel okay? Does it not feel okay? You know, you can keep it simple and say, hey, if this doesn't feel okay, I'm not buying it. Or, hey, this feels completely benign. I don't feel anything bad. Then you buy it. I mean, you can keep it really simple like that instead of having to cleanse it to bring it home and all that. But if you're really in love with a piece of an antique of some sort, then you probably want to take some steps. Dragon's blood tends to enhance things. Like giving them a kick. It's not necessarily protective. You know what I mean? Like I add dragon's blood to existing spell work or something to give it more oomph. There's a lot of different scents and resins and stuff that are really good and protective and been used for centuries. You can always go back to the frankincense and myrrh. It's been used forever and it works really good for clearing and protecting. All right, Trish. I'm going to tap into your chakras now. You guys keep talking about your ghosts. If anybody else has any ghost stuff going on, pipe in. Any experiences? Okay. Okay, Trish, there are 3 that are pronounced right now as being wonky. You still with me, Trish? Bree, yes, good idea. Planning a deep cleaning this weekend and reorganizing my altar. It's time to freshen it up. The seasons have changed. Things are changing. You need to reactivate for sure. That is the feeling I'm getting. Absolutely reactivate everything. And kick it up a notch. Trish, the 3 chakras that I found that were out, there were a couple more that were questionable, but they weren't really. I mean, when I checked them again, they're kind of okay. But there's definitely a disruption all the way around in your energy field. But the chakras specifically were the crown, the heart, and the root. So with the crown, it's feeling like a disconnect a little bit spiritually from the divine. So we look at how can we reconnect as soon as possible, because all good things come from being securely connected, very open and channeling in the divine. All the good messages, all the good magic, all the good yummy feelings. So we always want that one open. It's a priority. Trish says not shocked. Next would be the heart. You have a few things, and you actually, conveyed to me outside of this some things going on. So that makes sense, at least for me. But perhaps there's a few things, more than one going on with that. The next was the root. So that is home, family, career, finances, perceive imbalance or literal imbalance there. So worry can set that off. If there's actually a kerfluffle within any of those areas, that's speaking to that throwing you off. So why we bring these things up, everyone, is so that we can hopefully identify what it is. When I mention these things, hopefully a light bulb clicks on inside and you say, I know what that's talking about. And it gives you the confirmation that you need to take action to resolve it in some way. Whether it's stepping away from a situation, whether it's putting more of your energy into it, whether it's leaning on the angels and praying, but there's some direction that you're to take to get out of the moment so no one stays stuck, right? All right. So let me pull some cards here to support what this information we just gathered. Trish, do you have a good idea of everything that this is talking about? What in your world it's talking about? So you know what things, I mean, obviously it's going to be one thing that we talked about today, but are there other areas? Because I feel like it's not just that, There's the talk about a feeling of kind of almost a feeling of helplessness in the situations. That there's just feeling of that. Doesn't mean it's actually, fact. Just saying this feeling washed over of that. The card questions if you are in some form of a state where you're resisting stepping through a divine gate, like stepping through and asking them, just connecting with the divine. I don't know what, I mean, we had your crown off, which is a channel to it, but it's interesting it would bring this up. And it's some hesitation or some holding back from doing that sort of thing. So you ask, where is it in your world that you are resistant or maybe even bitter? But there is some hesitation into fully stepping into that. Trish says, haha, accurate. Okay, I'm glad you understand. Utilize this moon energy. We have the growing period right now. We just had new moon, so now it's getting bigger and bigger. Was Wednesday, today's Wednesday. We're still kind of in that planting seeds phase. And then we get into more nurturing that seeds and all that stuff. You can always plant seeds, though, by the way, when it's growing. It's just, kind of good practice to start at this point and then keep watering it, if you will. But they're encouraging you to utilize the energy right now with this moon cycle because it can be beneficial for you. Now, only you know what's going on inside of you. So take a deeper look at what's going on with the moon right now and how that could benefit and work in your favor. One more card from this deck. This card brings up protecting your dreams. And it says, you're the guardian of your precious dreams, and they are safe in your care only. Keep them close to your heart until you're ready for the world to know them. So you oftentimes hear seasoned practitioners talk about not sharing your magic fully or something that you're working on, to not tell everyone because it can taint the energy around the manifestation and the working. As well, you'll see a lot of us take pictures of some of our magical workings, our crystal grids and things like that. But there's always either they have it, it's not right in the moment with everything on board. There's something removed from it. It's not the exact foundation for the spell, if that makes sense. But those that are teaching like to share that sort of thing. Here's an example of here's my, kind of what I'm doing here. I'm not showing you every single thing I have that I'm going to put in play here. Maybe you hold back the herbs or something like that. Because you don't want to, it dissipates the energy when you include everything, you kind of just stream it out. If you know, sort of thing. But with that said, there's a call to that. Perhaps you've told people about things that you're really excited about, and somehow they drained, quote unquote, the life right out of that. You know what I mean? They're asking you to be careful of this. This deck needs to hush. It needs to hush. Well, it's the fairy deck, one of the fairy decks. So, let me skip over here. Let's go to the Angel Tarot and see what's going on here. We will end with some good stuff, though, Trish. They just got to get their words out, What do we got here? Oh, great. I've been ignoring them. They will be so lovely. I know the angels aren't bitter. I can't speak for gods and goddesses. They can have different attitudes about stuff, but the angels never. They're just like, okay, they're ready now. We're ready too. They never get mad about it. Interesting. We just talked about stuff that you might be wanting to manifest, whatever, and perhaps you've told people and they've taken the life out of it. This card comes in saying, plans and manifestations need revision. There's more going on than meets the eye. So definitely there needs to be an adjustment now with whatever was going on there, because situations have changed. It has lost a little bit of momentum. So reconfigure it, if you will. Reconfigure it. It's not to say it's not going to happen. It is calling for definite reconfiguration right now and recharging with energies of those that have your highest and best and actually have some magic to give, or, just yourself, just don't release it to everyone necessarily that And sometimes it's hard because you get super stoked about it. You're like, oh my God, I'm working on this thing and I started to see something. You just got to be careful with doing that. Again, in a different deck, we get the moon card. So they're not even playing with this moon thing. Perhaps not utilize, but work with Archangel Haniel of the moon in cycles and intuition. All the things. Archangel Haniel is a pale blue, light blue color. So, moon. Trish says, I've started, actually, I think that's on the reconfig. With the moon, spending more time with not just manifesting, but having sacred time with the moon. Be it going outside under the moonlight, or having the moon shine in a window, or just symbolic connection inside the house to the moon. The energy's still there. You just don't see it. It's a little bit cooler sometimes if you can see the moon, but you can still connect to it and it cycles. But there's a note here that connecting more deeply with that is going to help you with some psychic insights that you need right now. So there's that. It also speaks to releasing fears that are holding you back. They're not even playing with you. No. So good part is they're giving you a clue that there is more out there if you will take the dedicated time to get sacred with the moon in the night. And just make the decision to do it. You know, don't worry about what anybody says. Other people's opinions taint and dilute your magic. So to claim it all, you got to say, to heck with all that. You know, at some point you're going to have, you know, people will have a lot of folks that are pro their magical work. They support it. They put energy towards it. But if you are not, for some reason, any of you guys out there, if you're not surrounded by folks that do that, you got to keep it kind of close, or else it can really get tainted. Let me step over here now. Now, I see Marie and Bree talking about ghosts, but I know someone else in here has had a ghosty experience before, and y'all just aren't talking about it. Anybody over here? And YouTube? Okay, well, even the sweet deck is giving you a little sass here, Trish. The card says it's time to let go of behaviors that are blocking you from your heart's desire. Ask Archangel Raphael to help you with this healing. So there is something that is being held on to, you know, maybe not consciously. Maybe it's a block within that needs to surface and be purged. Do work with Archangel Raphael on this, even if you don't know what it is. You've been progressing quite a bit over the time that we've worked together. And I bet that if you got into deep theta state, they would give you a vision and a clue as to what this is. I know that you can access this information. It's time to let go of behaviors that are blocking you from your heart's desire. That's what they say on that. So you're getting a little bit of direct talking tonight. Let's see if we can pull one more from that deck that might be a little more gentle. Let's see. Spirit, do you have only sass for Trish tonight? Is there only sass here? Or is there some kindness in this? Okay, well, here we are. Suellen says, I have family and friends around. I don't call them ghosts. To me, ghosts would be people I don't know. Absolutely. Spirits, loved ones. I was just saying that as an easy way. But yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. Ghosts are those unfamiliar. And sometimes you connect with ghosts and you do get a name, or you get enough information that you can do the due diligence to research and find their name. And then you can address them in their name. And that's lovely, because perhaps they just want to be addressed and remembered, or set the story straight, or something like that. And then they can move on and do their thing. But it can be a great comfort to have family and friends around when they come to you. Hello, itchy nose. When you need it the most. Or just sometimes you're having a good day and you get a sign from them and you have an even better day. All of these things have happened. Trish. So yeah, there was one more card here. So this one's Archangel Michael calling you to shield yourself. So again, we were talking about external influences, situations, humans, stuff that's diluting what you got going on. So here again, we have Michael in yet another way saying, shield yourself, protect yourself from harsh or fear-based energies. Envision yourself in a cocoon of light. Do the shielding practices that you have worked on. If you don't feel like they're working, then kick them up a notch or try a different one. You don't always use the same one you can get away with one staple, like your favorite, that works most times. But I guarantee you there's going to be times where you need something different or something added into it, because situations, some are more intense than others. So getting a good tool belt together of options, okay, and journal this stuff. Journal, okay, my normal shielding isn't working. This is what's going on in my world right now. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I suspect might be interfering. These are the cards that I received from the angels on it. Note this stuff. Be a detective of your spiritual growth. Solon says, yep, there have been times I've walked into a place, got really bad vibes, and left. Good. Got your clairsentience working there for you. There's no reason to stay, for the most part. I suppose there's 1 or 2% of the times where there is an actual reason where you got to stay. But for the most part, if you don't have to stay, don't. Move elsewhere. I had to leave. This just reminded me of something I totally forgot. Years ago, I met my friend who was with a bunch of our other friends at a bar. I think it was even a beach bar. And I drove up, met her there, and I could not stay for very long at all. I got into that place, and it felt awful, extremely uncomfortable. I tried to be as polite as I could, but I was out of there within an hour. I was like, you know what? I got to go. I said, I'm not upset or anything, but I got to be out of here. So if we're going to stay here, then I'm just going to go home for tonight, and I'll see you guys later. But I'm not mad. I'm just saying something ain't right, and I got to go. I got to be out of here. And they're cool because they understand. They didn't feel it, but they weren't thinking I was being some kind of weird way. They're just like, oh, okay. Trish, so back to the shield yourself. Protect yourself, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Cocoon and healing lights around you. Yes, we did finish off that card and talking about that. So, how do you feel about that? Where are you, Trish? Are you still here? We are absolutely going to leave you with a Mystic Forest card. That's got to be fairly good. I mean, they're all good, right? We just tease, guys. We tease about some cards being a little more sassy, a little more direct. It's all for the good of our progress, and they're trying to help us. Awesome, Trish. Got it. It all makes sense. So, Spirit, what message do you have for Trish? Ooh. Okay. The title of this card is a little ominous, but then it goes on to a little bit lighter. It's coming. No. Hope is on the horizon. That's what's coming. It's all right. Hope is on the horizon. In the face of challenges, remember that nothing lasts forever. Trust that the universe has good things in store for you. So that's your happy card tonight. You see, he's got it, all of his stuff. He's carrying it all with him, everything he needs, and he's walking forward. You see the light coming out from this dark, shadowy space? That is spirit telling you that hope is on the horizon. So hang on to that bit with all the other information you got. And thank you very much for your support tonight. And after session, I will clear all these chakras up here for you. Hopefully you'll have a good night's rest. And tomorrow's a new day. Yeah? Sue Ellen, can I get a whoop whoop? You're very welcome. I've been so thirsty. Ooh. So thirsty. Whoop whoop. I see you. We'll use my brass guy tonight. Mainly because I can't find my normal kit. I feel like it might be in my Healing Hedge Witch go bag. Speaking of, since we're bringing it up, I'll be there again on the 27th, Friday the 27th, from 2 to 6 p.m. I believe I have a 4 to 5 o'clock booking already, but those other spots are totally open. And because I like to run a couple specials at Hedge Witch, there's some shorter versions. If you guys, if you're local, you want to pop in for a quicker angel reading or a quick chakra clearing, there's, some shorter stuff. There's 15, I think there's a 15-minute one, maybe a 20-minute one, just some shorter stuff to kind of pop in, clear up some things. Or if you just want to come say hello, that's cool too. But I will be there 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, the 27th of this month. Please come visit me. Although last time I had an angel. Okay, so we got 3 for you. All right, Sue Ellen, here we have it. So the 3 chakras that were, hold on, they're talking about something. I don't know why they have to interrupt right in the middle of me talking. Love you guys, I'm just saying. Okay, I don't know what you're working with magically with crystals, but there's is it aqua? Angel aura or aqua aura. It's hard to say those words. That they're asking you to work with, Sue Ellen, to enhance your divine connection in your psychic work, to be honest. And they're leaning towards mediumship stuff. Do you work with it? Aqua aura. Do you work with one? Because there's angel aura and there's aqua aura. There's a few different auras. Do you work with one of those already or have one on your person? Have one in your collection? Because they're asking you to utilize that in a bigger way. spend more time with that. There's something that it can add to your psychic awareness and or open up. So thank you guys. Now back to the chakras. Back to normal broadcasting. What is that term? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Okay, Marie, thank you very much. Oh, see, these are aqua auras, not aquamarine. Aquamarine is its own different type of rock. Aqua auras are kind of like they're in the quartz family. So I got some sitting around here. Well, there's a spirit quartz angel aura, but this is in a spirit quartz form. But you see how it has the iridescence? So imagine if there was a light bluish tone or a light green. I forget what the green one's called. I do have a green one, though, over here. I always keep it around my crystals. This is the greenish colored one, but you see how it has the rainbow shimmer? Yeah. And so the aqua one just basically looks like the pale blue instead of the green. For a good year or two, when I first became a Reiki master, I was gifted an angel aura point necklace, and it had amethyst, a little circle of amethyst on it. And I wore that. I charged it. It was a talisman for healing. I wore it religiously. And then one day it broke. It fell off of a stand and just broke apart. And of course I kept it because I make different magical crafts and things like that. But apparently the message that I got was that I no longer needed to rely on that. So it was interesting, but I do love them. I love the energy of them. So there's some divine psychic opening there. Oh, very nice. I like that you're at Goodwill today and bought a purple basket for the crystals, lilac colored. That's fabulous. I love finding thrifted items. Just don't even get me started on that. Don't get me started. Okay, so I really am going to tell you about the chakras, I swear. All right, so Ellen, the soul star, 6 inches above your crown, which is your connection to the more divine, higher vibrating realms, celestial realms, Atlantean realms, Lemurian realms, all of that, Akashic records, all that jazz. That is the gateway there. While you can access those areas, when this is open, it's just a pipeline it enhances a lot, and you don't have to work as hard to connect to them. So, but that's closed right now. And I know with some of the spiritual work you were doing, we definitely want that open. So that's going to happen before night's end. The next one is your throat. So that's your communication center. So that is, communicating, being heard, being able to speak your truth with love. It is also receiving messages. So there are times when, psychics or mediums, if the throat closes, they have a little difficult time getting new information. Something's kind of stopped up a little. We want to check that, because that also, it's not just humans we're talking to, it's spirit realm as well. So it's all encompassing in that. Guys, don't forget to boop the snoot up here to get the likes going so we can be shown in more spaces. Swellen says, definitely speaking truth, but holding back my ancestors. Holding back your ancestors. Well, at least if you understand what that means. Oh, okay. The last one is the sacral. So just below the belly button, that is your primal power area. That is also where, they speak about, divine feminine rising and kundalini, the snake rising and just activating everything. It's a passion, pleasure, creativity area. So typically when that is out of whack, that sometimes it's, all work and no play sort of thing. You're not allowing your creativity and your wants and needs to be heard and or going out and doing them. In some way they're getting stifled, which can lead to frustration overall in life, and feeling like you're lost and off your path sort of thing. So we don't want to leave that, especially, those working in the spiritual realm. You really want to nurture that area. It's a cauldron of inspiration and activation. Lots of different practices have attunements and activations that kind of come from that area. In Eastern medicine, it's also called the lower dantian. If you care to work with energy medicine with it, you can place 2 hands over that area and send light to it. You can ask it to awaken and then feel kind of a fire within. There's many different cool things you can do. There's quite a few meditations as well. So whether this is a more spiritual unlocking of your primal goddess, full goddess nature, or if it's in the more, say, mundane, where, you're not getting a lot of time to just do the things you wish to do, without having to check with someone or make sure this is that, or, there's external factors perhaps messing with it. So let's see what you said here. Too much stress, nerves are horrible right now. Okay, well, yes, that will do it. And that stress sounds like it's probably from, external situations, not your own self sort of thing. There's a lot of times that I, have discussions with folks and, they're just holding so much on their shoulders, right? They're, so much of the chaos and drama and situations and stuff needing to be fixed is all external, and they're okay. It's just they're bombarded by this stuff and, put in a position and or expected to resolve it all. Because why? Because they can, and because the external world has relied on them. It's going to become a habit. So-and-so will fix this. Let's bring it to them. Well, we know that they won't let the ball drop or things like that. So just take a look at all that. How do we wake that up? How do we get that moving? There are various ways to do that, but you do want to do that because it can negatively affect. If you're a spiritual worker, you want the sacral open. You do. It is a wonderful, Kundalini energy that, like, you guys are mostly familiar probably with that. Okay. Swellen said I nailed it with some of the things I was saying. All right. So you got it. I keep bringing in Kundalini. Did I ever get, at some point, I don't know if it was you or someone else, and this would have been a while ago, there was a Kundalini meditation to kind of, there's a lot of them, but this particular one woke up the fire within. I'm also a Kundalini Reiki master as well. So I do love the sacral chakra. It's a great place to be. So infuse more passion, more pleasure, more creativity. Revitalize your passion for life, for things. If there's something you enjoy doing and you just haven't been able to make time, well, take something else off the list. And this is the universe saying, make time for that. All right. So with that said, let me grab some cards here. You know what? Oh, they want the spiritual growth cards first. Okay. Okay. We talked about the Kundalini meditation. And then we get the meditation card. We need you to kick it up to the next level. That can also be utilized quite heavily with the Aqua Aura or Angel Aura, whichever one you decide to go with, and the Soul Star, and meditating out to receive either divine downloads, perhaps channel in some new gifts. There's something going on, and they're asking you to take the steps to make that phone call with them. This is how the easiest way to make that phone call is through deep, deep altered state meditation. So it says improvements require persistence in this. So that is a spiritual note in that growth area. Meditation isn't always, a lot of people think, well, you know, people do it to relax or for stress. It can be a wonderful psychic tool. Wonderful psychic tool. Bless someone? Okay. I didn't know if it was Sawyer or what. All right, let's see what the angels have to say. All right. We have first and foremost Archangel Raphael saying the healing angel is with you here supporting your healing work. So whether it's literal energy medicine healing or psychic or mediumship, you bring healing through, you know, channeling divine messages and things like that. So healing isn't just the hands-on stuff. There's different ways. And sometimes, you know, it's healing within, but they're specifically saying your healing work. So what you are doing spiritually to heal yourself and or others, directly or indirectly, work with Archangel Raphael more closely with that. Maybe call him in as part of your initial prayer to set the stage, to open up clear space, do all the things. So check that out. Next, the card was past life issue. So when this card comes up, they're trying to let you know that perhaps things that you're going through are karmic lessons, tied to a karmic lesson, perhaps in some way. The situation has basis in one of your previous lifetimes, it says. So ask your angels to help you remember to release, to learn, and to heal from past experiences. So perhaps venturing into that space, if you haven't already, you may put that on, you know, the to-do list to kind of step into that, to see if you can call upon another life, if you receive some information, or whether you see an experience that when you're out of it, you immediately can connect the dynamics of it to something that's going on in this world, in this lifetime. But there is some sort of karmic tie there. Some people choose never to look into the past life stuff. They don't want to go down that road. Others tend to find the benefit in seeing more clearly the patterns, and they end up a lot of times forgiving themselves in this lifetime, that it's not something they just made up. It's something they brought with them to heal. So it shifts the energy around it a little bit as more of a task, something to a lesson, something to work on, as opposed to a failure of some sort or something like that, something negative. So I do believe in that. That's why I offer past life review course or a class, and then also a different class. It's a past life regression, because I do see the benefits in that, not for escapism, but to get data, information, and allow us to forgive ourselves and see it as, okay, this isn't all of who I am. This is something I've carried over, and I can work on this. I feel like it empowers them in a way. I haven't done that yet, but interested. Well, if you are interested in working with me, I do have a course we could do on Zoom with that. If not me, then check out somebody else that has your highest and best interest involved in it, that can kind of be gentle in working with you, not like one that just like kind of not rips, but sometimes there's hypnosis that brings you to things that end up upsetting you in a way that's not terribly useful. I'm trying to say it's the best way I can. So just make sure you look for someone that has gentleness in mind, data in mind, forgiveness, that's interested in personal growth, self-growth, all that, not just the buzzword or the, kind of coolness of doing it. Harmful. That's a lovely word. Harmful. Sometimes I say every other word possible other than the easy one. And I thank you guys for helping me with that. It is a thing with me. It just is. I don't know. Swan says, we'll be contacting you. Awesome sauce. I love that. I'd love to work with you on that. I think it's very interesting, past life stuff. Very interesting. It is important to take the expectations off yourself when you go into a past life session. Take the expectations off. Just say, I'm going here for an experience. Whatever happens is supposed to happen. Because sometimes if you put a big I hope I find the life that did this, or I hope I find this, you're putting too much pressure on the situation. It's dulling your connection. It's hard enough, for some folks, to channel in the energy to get into the Akashic records. It's not as easy as just pulling cards, getting into the Akashic records. That's a high vibrating space. That is up there, so to speak. So I always, kind of do it like the human way. It's up there, but energy wise, it's far away from where we are in physical form. So if you don't want to see it as an up there, you can see it as the difference in vibrational states, sciencey bits. But so yeah, you want a good night's sleep, some food in your belly. You just want to be relaxed and ready and open to the adventure that awaits. No pressure on it when you do these things, guys. All right. Cards, what do you have for Sue Ellen? What other messages do we have? Okay, they're bringing up potentially a decision that has been kind of not looked at, and or that you feel is not truly a decision that you can make. And they're letting you know that there is perhaps another way to look at it, to definitely lean in and work with them. But it is not something that will go away. It may transform form, and or how it affects the people involved. But that particular lesson or challenge is not going away. I don't know if that makes any sense to you there. The next card is a very strong card, and it is the Emperor in this deck, with Archangel Michael, and he's standing there kind of chilling with his sword, and it's about incorporating structure and discipline. And I feel like it has something to do with the card just before it. Logic, organization. So there is that part of the brain that can be utilized in this. So, you could say perhaps there's just a whole lot of emotion involved in this, and they need you to pull in, both sides of the energy, the masculine and the feminine energy, and pull it in for a clearer view. Okay, it does make sense. All right. So it feels like this could be a harder one. That's why I take the breath like this. It's not the most fun, probably, situation, I have to say. The energy around it seems very tense, like inside, almost like, I can't right now. I can't, or something like that kind of energy. Definitely does not feel fun to have that somewhere in the back of your being. But they do want you to take a different look at some things, perhaps different approach. Just lean on the logic. I never say that, right? But lean on that part. Bring it in at least to balance out what's happening. Maybe we look at balance instead of the takeover of logic, because we can do that too and end up shutting stuff off and just go that way. Balance, balance, balance. Okay, this kind of plays into the last one. Is Archangel Jeremiah talking about renewal, review, and evaluate. Take a favorable assessment of the facts. Okay, as if we didn't say it clearly last card. But it is time to move forward in a new direction with whatever this challenge is. So they said it the best way we can say it here. And it may not be the most fun thing you wanted to hear tonight. It may not even be that bad. I don't know. You seem to know what it has to do with. I'm just delivering the mail on that. What I will say is I'm going to call upon your Mystic Forest card. We're going to end with that. We did pick up some information here, though, tonight to work on deepening your meditation so that you can further connect with the divine for some psychic downloads, psychic enhancements. They have something that specifically, they keep using the word psychic, not just healing or something like that. They're specific on that word. So there's something there that they're waiting to give you or show you or attune you to. That's kind of exciting. Also, Raphael, Archangel Raphael, for your healing journey and healing with others. Bring him on in to the fold for that. And of course, we're talking about this particular situations and stuff like that, which is, a little less fun than the psychic stuff in my book. So Ellen says, thank you in the process, but hard. Yes. That's what I have to say about that. Big change. It just never seems to be easy, does it, guys? So this card speaks to pursue happiness. Interesting. Now this card, I don't know if you can see it. On here, it is someone in the moonlight ascending stairs that are lit by lanterns going up through the trees. So it's kind of a nice visual. So I'm going to read the card, and I want you to take this to heart. Never apologize for what brings you joy. Only you understand where you truly belong and where you can find your safe space. Follow your bliss. So there's that. Never apologize for what brings you joy. And I want everybody to listen to that tonight. If dancing around the house with a top hat on brings you joy, you do that. I'm telling you, everybody has a problem with that. Anybody, they can come talk to me. Because I do that. I do some silly stuff because I want to. It makes me happy, and I don't care about what anybody else thinks. Because at the end of the day, life is short. This incarnation is short compared to, the lives that your soul, you know what I mean? So we're short right now. Short time. So we got to be good. We got to be fun. Fun. Well, okay, good and fun. We can't be like devious and fun, I suppose. But yeah, it is way too short not to do the silly things. Way too short. So everybody on here that's still with me, a few of you guys hanging on tough for 2 hours here, I want you over the next 7 days to do something silly and fun, even if you feel like family members and friends will laugh at you. If you want to do it, you do it. And I challenge you even more to take a selfie doing the fun thing and put it in the group. I'll do it if one of you guys, at least one of you, does that and posts it in the group, then I will do it as well and follow suit. But if nobody posts it, I'm not posting. You're just going to have to wonder what I did. Just saying. All right, Sue Ellen. Thank you for your support as always. And I bless you with what you are working on right now. And Trish as well, if you are still in here, I bless you in what you are working on right now. You know, sometimes this magic stuff's easy on the heart and sometimes it's not. But it always turns out in a way in which, if you follow suit and follow the guides, it turns out in a way in which you are more enlightened on things. Your soul receives the data and the lessons and hopefully a little bit of the happy bits that it has in store for you, the universe. So there's that. All right, guys, if there are no more, I don't think anyone else has sent any donations here. I don't want to miss anybody, but I don't see anything on the phone. So with that said, I think perhaps I shall let you all go to have dinner or watch some TV. Do something fun, whatever you want to do. You go drum if you want to go drum. Play a flute. I don't care. Cool. All right. I think that is all here. Let me look at my notes. All right. That's all I have. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. And I will see you soon on YouTube, on TikTok, somewhere. I'll see you soon. Have a good night.